Have you ever thought about it? Really thought about whether you could set up your life so that failure just isn't an option? Not just avoiding a few mistakes here and there, but building a life that is truly fail-proof. Well, today we're digging into the exact rules billionaires use to do just that.
It's a pretty wild question, right? It sounds almost like a cheat code for life. But, after spending a ton of time with people who have built these incredible fortunes, you start to see a pattern. They're not just playing the game differently. They've basically designed a whole new game board for themselves.
Okay, so let's get right into it. The stuff we're talking about today, this comes from over 100 hours of direct conversations with 4 different billionaires. So these aren't just some nice theories from a book, this is how these people actually operate. And it boils down to 4 essential rules.
Rule number 1, and this is without a doubt the absolute foundation of everything. You have to invest in your skill set, not your lifestyle. It is so easy to get distracted by buying stuff, but the wealthiest people, they focus on building themselves first. Because look, with the right skills, you can build literally anything.
And what's super interesting is that it really comes down to just 4 skills. 4 high-leverage skills that, if you master them, you're on your way to making yourself bulletproof. We're talking sales, networking, leadership, and vision. Let's break them down.
So first up is sales. And let's get one thing straight. This is not about tricking people or being pushy. It is the art of communicating value so clearly that people want to give you their money for it. Every single thing you could possibly want, hiring great people, getting a loan, finding customers, it all comes down to your ability to sell. If you can't do this, you're always going to be relying on somebody else.
All right, next up, networking. And this story just illustrates the point perfectly. When the guy who gathered all this intel first moved to San Francisco, people would ask him, "What do you do?" And he'd say, "Oh, I just sold my company. I don't know what's next." You know what happened? People would literally turn around and walk away. So a mentor told him to reframe his answer to, "I help startup founders with marketing." Just like that, boom, he was offering value, and suddenly the conversations and the connections just started happening.
And that's the whole point, right? Your network is your ultimate safety net. If you lost every single penny, but you kept your relationships and your reputation, you could build it all back, probably 2 or 3 times faster. Those connections, they're one of your most valuable assets, period.
Now let's talk about skill number 3, leadership. And there's a really key difference here. See, millionaires often get really good at building systems and processes, but billionaires, they build people. They know the real return on investment comes from leveling up the skills and the vision of their team, because then those people will go out and build a business for you.
And that brings us to the final capstone skill, vision. Now, this isn't some fluffy, vague idea. It's actually super concrete. It breaks down into 3 parts. 1, 100% clarity on what you want to build. 2, 100% belief that you can actually do it. And 3, holding both of those things true 100% of the time. That unwavering vision is the engine that drives absolutely everything.
Okay, so you've got the skills, but skills alone won't cut it. Timing and strategy are everything, which leads us right into rule number 2. You have to adopt a contrarian mindset. This is all about knowing when to go against the crowd. This classic line from Warren Buffett just says it all. When everyone is jumping into something super excited, feeling greedy, that's your cue to be a little fearful. And when everyone is panicking and selling off everything they own, well, that's when the real opportunities pop up for people who are brave enough to be greedy.
Mark Cuban is the perfect example of this. Back in the dot-com bubble, he saw everyone getting insanely greedy in the tech market. So he sold his company. But instead of just riding that wave up, he called his advisor and basically bet against the market. When the crash came, his fortune was safe. Why? Because he went left when everybody else was sprinting right.
I love this story. So back in 2012, our source ran a Bitcoin event when it was trading at just $12. 12! People thought he was completely nuts, like a tinfoil hat kind of guy. Almost nobody bought any. Then, you fast forward a few years, the price goes through the roof, and suddenly everyone wants in, right before it crashes again. The lesson here is simple. If everybody's already there, you're probably too late.
So being a contrarian can obviously lead to some huge wins. But what do you do after you have that big payday? Well, that brings us to rule number 3, which is all about the strategy of smart diversification.
Now this is so important because we hear multiple streams of income all the time, but here's the secret.
That's a strategy for keeping your wealth, not for creating it. If you spread yourself too thin at the beginning, you're just signing up for mediocrity. You get rich by focusing like a laser, and then you stay rich by diversifying.
So when you get that big win, here's the billionaire playbook. You take the cash and you split it 50-50. Half of it goes into boring, safe stuff. Think index funds, ETFs. The only goal for this half is don't lose it. The other half, that's your risk capital. You pour that into new companies, angel investing, your next big swing.
This advice came straight from a billionaire mentor. He said, 50%, lock and load. Don't lose it. That protects your win. The other 50%, that is all you got. Make it work. It's this beautiful, disciplined strategy that gives you security, but also the fuel to go create that next big win.
And this brings us to the final, and maybe the most powerful rule of all. It's a concept that completely reframes how you think about ambition and time. Rule number 4 is to be long-term greedy. Just look at the difference here. It's night and day. Short-term greedy people are thinking about the next 6 to 12 months. How can they squeeze out the most value right now? The problem is they're playing for tiny returns. Billionaires, on the other hand, are greedy for the 10 or 20-year outcome. They focus on building this unstoppable momentum because they know the real payoff is exponential over time. And here is the beautiful paradox of it all. Being long-term greedy usually means you have to be incredibly generous in the short term. By helping people, sharing opportunities, not squeezing every last cent out of a deal, you build up this massive amount of goodwill. People actually start rooting for you. They want you to win because they know when you win, they win too. So how long is long-term? The advice is simple and it's powerful. Dedicate a decade. 10 years. Just stop thinking in months or even a few years. Commit to a vision, to a partnership, to a business for 10 years, and just see what kind of incredible momentum you can build. So let's just run through that blueprint one last time. Rule 1. Build your foundation with those 4 core skills: sales, networking, leadership, and vision. Rule 2. Think like a contrarian. Go left when everyone else goes right. Rule 3. After a big win, use that 50-50 rule to diversify smartly. And finally, Rule 4. Play the long game. Be long-term greedy. Look, this isn't just a random list of rules. It is a blueprint for building a life where you control the outcome. It makes success a matter of design, not a matter of luck. So the question I want to leave you with is this. You have the blueprint. Which part are you going to start building with first?